Hello and welcome to another episode of All Elite Arcade. It is that time of the week. It is Monday. We are going to be discussing video games with you. Myself and the Chugs are ready, and we've been playing a whole lot. But before we get into video games, and I hate to bring this up because we don't typically talk wrestling here. We typically talk video games only. But I think there's a little bit of synergy here. Chugs. Or Adam Cole. Adam,
Yes.
just recently you won the TNT Championship at our Dynasty pay-per-view AEW, which, congratulations, that's a great event for you and in your career, as well on the 17-year of your start in wrestling, I believe.
Right. And in Philadelphia,
Yes,
which is where I trained and had my very first match. So what a cool full circle moment, man. So cool.
But even cooler than that, and I hate most people would be like, "Oh, tell me about your wrestling history." I don't care about that. What I want to know is you wore a Witcher outfit,
Yes.
and I want to know more about your Witcher outfit you wear because it rules.
Oh, thanks, man. Yeah. So, God, again, as anyone who knows me, they know that my two passions in life are pro wrestling and video games. And like you had mentioned, Uno, whether it be in my wrestling career or whether it be on Twitch as the Chugs, I generally keep the two separate. Of course, they intertwine. And of course, we talk about both sometimes. But one of the things I decided to do really in the past few years is show my love and appreciation for video games. And that's through like some of the big matches that I have. The first time I challenged for the AEW World Championship in my first pay-per-view main event, I wore some Halo gear as the Master Chief. Then for All In, once again challenging for the World Championship, I had Handsome Jack inspired gear. And then coming up on the 17-year wrestling anniversary, winning the TNT Championship in Philadelphia, I had to do some Geralt gear. I had to do some Witcher 3 gear. So I think it turned out awesome. I was so happy with how it was made. So excited to wear it. And yeah, on such a big night, I just wanted to represent one of my favorite video games, one of the greatest video games ever made, which is really cool. On top of that, it's been really awesome to see that the Witcher socials have been interacting with it. One of my favorite comments was the Witcher social saying that, as a colleague put it, we totally need these pants in our game. So who knows, everybody? Geralt may be wearing some Adam Cole gear in The Witcher 4. Who knows?
Geralt in a Speedo next
right.
Witcher 4.
Right. So just really cool. Again, I just wanted to. I really like wearing video game inspired stuff for super special moments and big matches, and I was so happy with how it turned out, and I'm so glad that a lot of people enjoyed it.
Can I make a bold prediction and say next time you're coming out with a Buster Sword?
Okay, that's a good guess.
I mean, hey,
that's a good guess.
I'm fine. I'm following the lineage of what you like. I feel like the next one has to be a Final Fantasy thing.
It might be.
Yeah.
It might be.
All right. Well, we'll disclose no other information here, but incredible outfit. Almost subtle to a the color scheme on it is, if you didn't know as a Witcher gear, no one would think about it. They'd just be like, "Oh, nice gear, very nice outfit."
I'm actually so glad that you brought that up because, again, I loved my Halo gear, which is the first time I did any video game inspired stuff. But that was so strongly the Master Chief. It was almost like in a design of gear that I normally don't wear, which wasn't a bad thing necessarily. But I did decide going forward, like with Handsome Jack and with Geralt, I wanted it to be Adam Cole gear with a Witcher touch or with a Handsome Jack touch instead. So I really do like the synergy, as you had mentioned, of it being stuff that I would normally wear combined with the inspiration of that video game as well. So thank you, because that's exactly what I'm going for. It's one of those where if people know The Witcher right away, they're like, oh my God, there it is. And if you don't, you're like, oh, that's some cool new gear that Adam Cole's wearing.
Yeah, you definitely pulled it off.
Thanks, man.
What about video games? What you've been doing this week?
Yeah, I did. All things considered, with it being such a wild week, I do want to say this again as well. I did mention this on socials, but once again, in Uno, I know we were talking about this as well, but a huge thank you to everyone for the full year of this podcast. so cool that we've gotten to do. This is episode 53. So we're starting year number 2, which is so exciting. So again, a huge thank you to everybody for the support. Me and Uno love doing this, and we can't wait to do it for years and years to come. So thank you, everybody. But secondly, as far as the games I've been playing, I did get quite a bit of gaming in, all things considered, with it being such a busy week. Of course, I'm continuing Pokemon trading card game Pocket, baby. I'm continuing it. And I've done all the battles that you can possibly do. I've beaten every set of cards that you could possibly beat against the computer. I still have a couple of like optional things to do, like for example, winning this battle 10 times or using a deck with only 3 diamond rarity level and stuff like that. So I still have some more stuff to do to get some shop tickets and things like that. But I've completed that, still collecting those cards. Pokemon Trading Card Game Pocket every single morning. Love it. And in addition to that, I also on stream continued the Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. Once again, going through the base game, trying to get towards the very end of the main game itself before I start into the Blood and Wine DLC, because we finished the Hearts of Stone DLC. I am not going to go into any detail because Uno, like we say, I want you to experience it for the first time without knowing what's going on. So I'm not going to say anything, but once again, The Witcher 3 is the absolute best. So good. But also, Uno, I beat game number 68 on stream and game number 7 for this year. So in 2025, I've beaten 7 games on stream of all time. I've beaten 68 games, and that game is Paper Mario: The Thousand-Year Door.
Finally happened.
Man, an incredible, absolutely incredible turn-based RPG. It's now my new favorite Paper Mario game. For the longest time, it was the original Paper Mario. I totally understand why people cherish The Thousand-Year Door so much. So I think I mentioned this last time, but I went to fight the final boss. And the difficulty spike, Uno, on this final boss is so huge, it was shocking. Really, up until that point, there were some challenging fights, don't get me wrong, but the final boss, so difficult. I got smashed, absolutely destroyed. But then I noticed after I died, and when I spawned in before the boss room, this pipe randomly showed up. And my partner, who I was using Bobbery at the time, he said, that's interesting. That pipe wasn't there before. So it was almost like the game's way of telling me there was so much more to do and so many ways to get stronger and more things to explore. And I was like, oh my God, that's exactly what it is. Because I went back into that pipe, and I'd say I streamed for about 4.5 hours yesterday. Like 3.5 hours of it was me exploring and doing this optional stuff that I didn't know existed. More importantly, getting stronger. The entire game, I thought that you could only level up your partners once. But really, if you blow up this wall in one of the first castles that you explore, Hooktail Castle, you get this up arrow, which you then take to this sorcerer who can power up your partners even more. So they get even more HP. More importantly, they get new moves that do way more damage. So that made the fight significantly more manageable. In addition to that, I did this pit of 100 trials, and I only got up to room 50, where you have to go through 100 rooms of defeating enemies, and every 10 rooms, you get a certain item. I got certain badges, which were really cool, like a sleepy stomp, where if Mario jumps on an enemy, it makes them fall asleep. There was this move with fire and your hammer where it sets the enemies on fire. But most importantly, when I got to room 50, I got this item sack, which allowed me to carry 5 more items, specifically like healing items and like attack items and things like that, to further prepare for this final boss. So that helped tremendously. Long story short, Uno, after I leveled up a couple times, went and got this item sack where I could carry more healing items, went and powered up all of my partners. Uno, I crushed that boss. Absolutely crushed that boss. And I was so pumped. So still a very tough fight. Still something you have to pay attention to. But shout out, my MVP of that particular fight was Bobbery, who is a Bob-omb character that works alongside Mario. But again, just an incredible game. I actually want to go back and explore more because, again, a bunch of people in the Chugs Army told me that there's actually quite a bit of stuff that I missed, like an optional partner that you can find, obviously more floors to do in the Pit of 100 Trials, a ton of stuff. So this game is filled with so much content and so much amazing character development and super fun battles. So again, Paper Mario: The Thousand-Year Door, highly recommend it. Recently re-released or remastered on Switch. It's incredible. And then in addition to that, I did continue 2 games off stream. Actually, I put a little bit more time into the first Berserker Kazan, which was awesome. I only put another hour into that game, but my God, am I enjoying it. Again, it is just buttery smooth. The parrying system feels so nice. There were a couple times when I would go into a fight and I was still trying to get the timing of the parrying down, but I really, really wanted to get good with it instead of dodging, which dodging is still very important. But I would die and then I would go back in. And when you connect or time properly with those parries, it is so satisfying. I love the combat mechanics. Ben Starr is crushing it as the lead, as Kazan in this game. And I really, really like the way that they do gear in this game. I love that there are multiple different pieces of gear you can find, sometimes with just small increases, like maybe 1 or 2 defense. But then you find these special sets of armor, where, for example, right now, still very early in the game, I'm using the Hound set, which when you wear multiple pieces of armor, you get certain bonuses as it goes on. For example, if you wear 2 pieces of the Hound set, you get a 5% damage increase. If you wear 3, you get a 20% increase in your stamina, and it continues and continues. So then you kind of have to decide, do I want to go for just absolutely the most defense possible, or do I want to maybe have a little bit less defense but then get these bonuses as well? So it's kind of like a problem in your head that you're trying to solve as well. So once again, still very early in that game. I have heard from so many people that this is one of, if not the most challenging games that they've played.
So
I know
yes.
I'm in for a long ride, but I will definitely be continuing this game. I'm absolutely loving it so far. It's excellent. Really, really good Souls game. One of my favorites outside of From Software, easily. Just so good. But in addition to that, and again, a huge thank you to everyone at Xbox, but I got the chance to play a little bit of South of Midnight last night before we started. This has been a game that I've wanted to try for quite some time. I only played about 2.5 hours. Uno, I'm hooked. I'm absolutely hooked. I was only going to play for about an hour last night, and I was like, no, I have to keep playing. I love the stop motion graphical fidelity style. I think the game looks beautiful. Again, I know I always talk about voice acting, but I just think it's so important and it adds so much to a game. But the voice actors and actresses in South of Midnight are doing an incredible job. The story is very interesting. This game is incredibly linear. You can still kind of go off the beaten path and find some currency or items to like upgrade your character. But the combat so far has been fairly simple, but it's fun to play. It's really, really fun to play. Most importantly, I think the thing that's hooked me the most about this game, in addition to the music being great, is the story is awesome. I'm very intrigued to see where this goes. It feels like it's going to be a really heavy story. It feels like it's going to get pretty sad, pretty emotional, but I'm all in when it comes to games like that. The game is just so brilliantly made and brilliantly done. So yeah, I'm really, really enjoying South of Midnight. I can't recommend that enough. So I think those 2 games, as far as my off-stream games that I'm really going to work on, are South of Midnight and the first Berserker Kazan. Those are 2 games I'm absolutely going to finish, most likely off-stream. But yeah, I'm really enjoying South of Midnight.
Oh, you're not the only one, because last week I talked about it a little bit on the podcast. I played a few hours of it. I added a few more hours this week, and it's same things I was saying last week, but it's stunning. At
Beautiful.
parts, there is a difficulty curve, and so I could theoretically go harder, but it is not a extremely challenging game. But to be honest, I'm not playing it that much for the challenge. It's not exactly a From Software game. That's not what I'm looking from it. I'm actually just more stunned by the set pieces, the colors, and I really want to find out about the story, because you were saying this looks like it's going to be heavy. Almost in the first few hours, there's some pretty familiar, like family heavy drama that happens, as well as like natural disaster stuff that happens. So it pretty much right off the bat, you know it's going to have a very serious tone, which is funny because a lot of like the characters you interact with are like giant animals, like paper mache stuff and stuff. It doesn't. There's a part of it that's very soulful and very whimsical, but the other part of it is very real world, like potentially horrifying things happening to family members and stuff. The beginning is stunning. Yeah.
Yes, no, absolutely. And you're so right, because your main character is what in the game they call a weaver, and someone who can see this stigma or this energy in the world that other people can't see. And a lot of the stuff that you see, whether it be with real world problems like really bad storms or things that people have gone through, this stigma is built off of trauma. So like really, really horrible things that have happened either to people or to the earth. So again, we've just scratched the surface on what we're going to see as far as the damage that has been done both to these characters and to the world around it. But my God, what a beautiful world. And like you said too, can't wait to see the story unfold.
Yeah, so that's also one I think I'll continue playing on my off time as well. I don't have much to add on this one. What you have said is what I would reflect as well on the game as well.
Okay.
I played a little longer, and no giant turning point happened in the game. I'm still in that path of I'm still learning stuff and I'm still advancing.
Cool.
On my end, on Twitch, twitch.tv/eviluno, I ended up not completing. I got through all of the levels of Donkey Kong 64, and I'm now at the final part of Donkey Kong 64, which will be the bane of my existence, because to get to the final boss, so it's weird. To qualify for the final boss, not even getting 101%, you need to, in all 8 levels, beat the bosses, or rather 7 levels. All 7 levels, beat the bosses. That gives you a key. But to get the bosses, most of the time you need 300 to 400 bananas. So you have to collect colored bananas of that much. Then to get to the final boss, you need also 100 golden bananas. So you need to have completed the challenges through many characters to get that. On top of that, in each of the worlds, or not each of them, I think across all 7, there's 4 battle arenas that are hidden that you have to find. You have to beat the battle arenas and get the crowns. And if you thought that was a lot, once you've done all of that, you also need to do 2 very, very difficult runs of old video games. You have to play Atari Donkey Kong with 1 life and beat all 4 stages, which I'm going to say it right now. I'm just going to save state my way through it. It's going to be cheap, but I'm going to do it. And you have to do this.
Do it.
Yeah, I don't care at this point. I've played 20 hours of this game. And I am enjoying it. I will say Donkey Kong 64 rules. I understand why people would be baffled nowadays about collecting so much, but for my generation, this is what a video game was. So to me, I love it. So after doing that, you also have to get Jetpack, which is an old rare game, and you need to get a 5,000 high score. And to do that, to complete a screen, you have to set off a rocket. And setting off a rocket gives you 50 points. So you have to do it 100 times, or every time I think you shoot an enemy dead, that's 10 points. So on top of creating the rocket, which is already hard on its own, you have to spam kill things and pretty much play the game perfectly, because you only have a few lives, for upwards of half an hour to get through. Once you've done that, you then have to do a gauntlet of, I believe, all the bosses, if I remember correctly, and then you could go and face the final boss, which, if I remember correctly, because I have not played this a very long time, is the hardest thing in the entire game. So much like the Diddy Kong Racing, the final boss is just abnormally difficult. So will I beat it? Yes. I don't know.
You will.
I will 100%, because I've made it. I've committed to the idea. How long will it take me? I have no idea. Go to twitch.tv/eviluno and find out and see my pain in the next few weeks. But I did end up ordering the bongos. I got the bongos for the GameCube content. I would pull them up, but they're in a different room right now. But I'm ready to go for the next bongo games. I've got Congo 1, Congo 2. I will not play the Japanese-only Congo 3 because I cannot read Japanese. And Jungle Beat are coming up next. All 3 of those use the bongos, which I've never played. So very excited to jump on to that. On my off time, I talked about last week how I started playing Metroid Prime, and I was very surprised how I had never realized that Metroid Prime was just going to be a first-person Metroidvania. Well, much like regular Metroidvanias, I have now beaten every area and have to have had backtracked over everything to find secret areas to get 12 artifacts, which aren't so bad because there's like it does not give you the indication of this, but you have a glossary of terms, and if you go in that and you scan the statues, it'll give you an indication of what room it might be in, which is how I ended up solving most of it. Once you get all 12 of those, then it shoots you to another world, which you have never been to face the final boss, who is actually... No boss is like this, but this boss has like multiple phases. It is extremely difficult. And so I'm at that point there. I thought I had beaten it, but I'm just on the cusp of fighting this boss. I just saved beforehand. And now I'm just kind of... I have a very hard time, and I think we've talked about this before, but like a lot of the video games I talk about and get very excited, I get very close to the end. And then there's a part of me that tells me like you shouldn't finish it because the experience will be done. But then I'll never replay it again and ruin myself from seeing an ending. So part of my plan in the next week is I will complete Metroid Prime Remastered, finish that final boss, and then I might jump into, now that I have a GameCube and I have the library ready and accessible to me, I might play through Prime 2 and 3 in preparation for Prime 4. That's how much I liked Prime Remastered.
That's awesome. Yeah, I still, Uno, and you talking about this. Again, I downloaded Metroid Prime Remastered forever ago. And I do have Metroid Prime 1, 2, and 3 on my Wii U, which I still have.
Hell yeah.
I went and got that as well. So, man, I think you should absolutely play the other two, especially because you've enjoyed one so much. Uno, sorry, total random question, but I talked about me beating 7 games this year. Do you know how many games you've beaten this year?
So I beat The Root Trees Are Dead. I beat Donkey Kong 1, 2, and 3, Diddy Kong Racing, Pirate Yakuza, that's at 6.
Yep.
I'm about to beat Donkey Kong and Metroid, so that'll be 8.
Okay, we're up on 8.
Yeah, I'm getting there.
Nice.
And then the last thing I want to talk about, and this is the one I'm going to talk a lot about, is there's a game I teased a little bit last week, and I don't even know if we mentioned it on the podcast, but it's a game that I've been looking forward to because a lot of friends who had pre-access to this had told me it was incredible, and currently it is the highest rated game of 2025 on Metacritic and just about every other.
Wow.
It is called Blueprints. Blueprints, it just came out last Thursday, if you're listening to this podcast. And it also is free if you have PlayStation Plus Premium, and it is free to play if you have Game Pass. So both of those, if not, it's like $20 US, I believe, on Steam. I don't think it's on Switch. So what this game is essentially... It is a roguelike game, but instead of being a combat-focused roguelike, it's a puzzle-based roguelike. You enter a manor. The manor is think a 9x5 space. They're all blocks. And as you enter the manor, any door that you see, you can populate that with a room that's a part of your inventory, or a draft pool is what they call it. They give you 3 options. You choose what's in it, and then you move on. And those rooms could have... They could be dead ends, but in those dead ends, there's items. They could have pathways to different rooms. They can have functions. And I'm going to try to not solve and give you too much information because a lot of the beauty of this game is deciphering this for yourself. But as you progress through, your point is you're on a 9x5. That's 45 rooms, and you have to get to the 46th room. And you don't know how to do that, but it gives you a point of reference at the top called the antechamber, and it tells you if you get to the antechamber, maybe you can get to the 46th room. I played 9 hours of this nonstop straight. The day it came out. We were recording this the day after it came out, and my plan of the day is to finish all my errands so I could play 9 more hours of this. That's how addicted I am to this game. It's it's the best kind of game, and by the end of this year will probably be my game of the year, but there's still a lot of time. We've got a lot of games to come out. But this is the type of game you need a notepad. It tells you right off the bat you should take notes. And in the first 3 hours, I thought I had an understanding of the game. I'm now 9 hours past, and I think I've had 4 different understandings of what I thought the game was, and I'm only now realizing that I don't think I fully understand what is being perceived. So, like, I've solved some puzzles. I have solved... and to give you an idea, and I will not disclose any information, but it's a 9x5 grid. Some rooms have items in them. some rooms have puzzles in them, and some rooms have information in them. As you progress, you then start realizing some rooms can only trigger other rooms when connected to it. Some rooms can only be on the edges because they have to face windows outside. Some rooms, you need other rooms to activate. And so as you're playing the game, and it's a roguelike, so it's randomized every time, you're slowly learning knowledge on how to unlock the secrets of the rooms, which will only help you further get to the secret of the 46th room. And so I'm now 9 hours in. I don't think I'm anywhere close to finishing this. And from everyone that's played this game, from what they've told me, is that you could probably reach an ending within 30 hours, but the next 80 to 90 hours after that is where the game gets real good. Which I am baffled, because this is the coolest game I have played all year as of yet. This is the type of game, and this is the type of game I really enjoy. I'm big into puzzles, but what I love about this type of puzzle game is it does not give you indications. You have to figure it out yourself. It's all about deduction. Obviously, if you go into a room, it might be like, hey, here's a small indication of what you might have seen through each room and how you could potentially solve it. Because on top of what I said, there's layers upon layers upon layers of other puzzles. The 9x5 grid is a puzzle of its own. You don't realize it. The color of each room plays a factor into the grand scheme of the manor. What connects to another room actually matters. It's if you hit a switch on one part, it will deactivate another part, but keep you completely capable of entering another part. So there's a lot of really crazy stuff. And the thing that I'm fascinated about is this is the perfect time to play it, because nobody knows how to play this game. And so everyone is talking about, did you find out about this? Do you know about this part? Or like trying to give hints to each other and be like, hey, have you looked at the posters on the wall? Cool. Do you see, like, have you realized the items that are in every room? So, like, I'm at that perfect period of time where everyone is actively playing it and no one knows what the hell is going on. And that's when I played The Witness. That's when I played Outer Worlds as well. Return of Obra Dinn. If you like any of those games, this game is very similar to that. Obviously, the subject matter is different, but it is the type of game that keeps me questioning what I'm doing at all times and keeps unraveling layers and layers and layers that makes me realize, wow, I'll never be as smart as the people who made this game, because it is fascinating the amount of details that's in it. If you haven't played Blueprints, I hope I convinced you to, because this is the game I'm going to try to push everyone to play in the next month. I'm having an incredible time. I literally just want to end this podcast as fast as I can so I can go play it. I have errands as well, but like that's how much I have to travel for the next few days. I can only put in a few hours a game today, and I really want to get into it.
You certainly sold me on it, Uno.
Hell yes.
You
I hope
certainly
you play
sold
it.
me
I hope
on
you
it.
play
Man,
it.
I got to try this.
You should definitely try it. And I hope everyone out there tries it as well. If you are having your experience, and please do not disclose any secrets, but go to youtube.com/AEW Games and let us know what you are thinking about Blueprints, as well as all the other games that you might be playing this week. There's a ton of other stuff that also came out. Do let us know. I think it's time for the news, but first we'll take a little break. We will see you right after this. And we're back, and it's time to talk the news of the week. It is April 14th today, the Monday that this drops. Our episodes drop every single Monday. There's been a lot of news. Obviously, there's the Switch 2 stuff. A lot of the pre-orders have been delayed. I would love to disclose more information about that, but it's very open-ended right now. I think even Nintendo themselves have no real understanding of what's going to go on. So until further notice, we're just hoping that we can get on that pre-order list and get that Switch 2 in North America, but we will see. Other stuff that has happened this week, though, Microsoft confirmed that they will have an Xbox showcase this June, the same week that Switch 2 is supposed to be released. That's on June 8th. Microsoft will have their Xbox Games Showcase Direct. And then, following it, there will be an Outer Worlds 2 Direct, which I'm actually fascinated on the idea that they're willing to give a 20-30 minute chunk to this game, they must really think it's gonna be good.
No, I think so too. And then just looking, man, I'm so excited for that week, Uno.
Oh yeah, me too.
The fact that we have the Switch 2 plus this Xbox Game Showcase. And, I played a bit. I never finished the original Outer Worlds, but I really, really enjoyed it. It definitely had that Fallout New Vegas type of charm to it. So I'm excited to see the Outer Worlds 2 Direct as well. Also, what else Xbox is going to announce? I feel like the last Xbox Showcase they had, where they showed 4 games and had one shadow drop of Ninja Gaiden 2 Black, was an excellent showcase. So I'm really excited to see what Xbox has planned for this showcase in June, which is so soon.
You want to get crazy and make 3 bold predictions?
Oh.
So here's what I think. My bold prediction, and I don't think they're that bold because some of them are slightly educated. I think because it's been rumored and it's been sort of talked about, I'm sure we will hear about their potential handheld device in June. I think that's the best time to announce it. If they do plan to release it this year, that would release later in the year. And the week that Switch comes out, Xbox says, "Hey, yeah, but we have a more powerful handheld." I think that would be kind of a cool move for them to do.
It would be cool.
I think we're already getting a new Gears of War, correct?
Yes.
I believe they already teased that. So I think that's almost certain. So I'm going to make an even bolder prediction. I think we're seeing Halo. I think we're going to see the next Halo.
God.
Yeah.
If we see the next Halo, I'm going to lose my mind.
Yeah, I think we have to.
I'm going to lose my mind.
I think we have to. It's been, 2.5, 3 years since the last one?
It's been a little bit.
It's been a little bit. I'm not saying the game comes out soon. I think the next Halo is probably 1.5 years, 2 years away. But I bet you they tell you, hey, yeah, we're working on it. We're working on it. And then my final prediction, and maybe this will ruin you too. Look, shadow drop Silk Song. It's just gonna happen.
Just do it.
It's gonna happen.
It's
gonna do it. just make us happy. I don't even know if you'll talk about it, but we know it's coming out in 2025 from the Switch 2 Direct. Just like shadow drop it. Just shadow drop it on Xbox.
Oh my God, it'd be the best. This would be the best year, the best summer of all time. Yeah. Switch 2, Silk Song, Shadow Drop. My God.
If I can't pre-order the Switch 2, but I can play Silk Song on a Shadow Drop that week, it's okay. I'll live. Yeah,
right.
I'll live.
Right. That would be the only thing to be able to counter that pain.
Yeah.
Man, so those predictions are great. Really, really good. I hope all 3 of those things happen. And mine are, which again, I can't wait for the Xbox handheld. We know it's been rumored so much that it's got to be in the near future.
And that's the future of gaming in general. Like that's why Switch and Steam Deck are so invested in it, and all these other computer devices are doing their own as well.
Yeah. So my 3 bold predictions is I have to join in on, we're going to get, you know what? I won't even say I hope it's a shadow drop, but we're going to get something about Silk Song.
I think so.
I feel like we're especially after that Switch 2, just the few seconds they showed, 2025, we got to get something for Silk Song.
And it originally was released on Xbox as far as like the initial Silk Song announcement. So.
Exactly. So I'm hoping that Xbox are the ones to show us a little bit more of Silk Song. Also, I think that we are going to see more footage of the new Gears of War E-Day. Yeah. I think we're going to see maybe some gameplay footage, which I think would be awesome. Maybe even a release date. I don't know, but I definitely think we're going to see more footage of that. And then number 3 for a shadow drop, my guess is they are going to shadow drop the Elder Scrolls Oblivion at the showcase.
I actually completely. So we had read the rumor of that was eventually going to come out, and then there was no news after that. There was no announcement.
Nothing.
That's actually probably super smart. And shoot, Bethesda probably could show the next Elder Scrolls.
They could. Because it's been so long, right?
Yes, it's been so long, and we know they worked on it before even they released Starfield.
Starfield, yeah.
Oh my God, I think you might be onto something.
That's true.
Okay, I'm getting excited. I'm getting excited. All right.
Me too. It's gonna be great.
Choose the best time for video games. Great little bit. So yes, June 8th, do put that on your calendars. Xbox will be releasing theirs, as well as Outer Wilds will be following just after that, with a obviously completely geared toward their new game, Outer Wilds, which will come out. Outer Worlds 2.
Yep,
Outer Wilds is a different game, which I would be excited if they made that. But Outer Worlds 2, which will be coming out later this year as well. Other stuff this week that happened, we had a showcase, but this one for the Triple I Initiative Indie Showcase. That is essentially the big indie companies. They ended up making a new term for these, where there's indie now, but there's also Triple I Indie, which is essentially the Triple A equivalent, but for indies. So they're usually bigger teams, or at least teams of high caliber that have made other stuff. So, like, for example, if the people behind the Braid and the Witness, Jonathan Blow and his team made something, they would probably be a Triple I. And in the Triple I games that they announced, there's a ton of stuff, and we will not talk about all of them, but there has been some stuff that I want to talk about. There was that 11-bit studio game, The Alters. That was the one where you're playing a bunch of your own clones. I remember it on the Xbox One last year. Well, that has dropped a new gameplay trailer, as well as a release date that will be releasing June 13th. So very excited for that.
Very soon.
That's it's a survival game where you play as Jan Dolsky, who is like a pilot, but you are also simultaneously a bunch of your clones. I don't know how that works. They haven't disclosed a whole lot, but that seems very fascinating. There's a new life sim called Neverway by the person who made the art from Celeste that is coming out. No date just quite yet, but there is it's a life sim RPG. There's a video out there that you can go and check out. I think it's called Speed. Oh my God, Speedrunners. Yes, Speedrunners used to be a multiplayer game where you're a bunch of little players and you try to speed run through a world, and whoever was fastest would win. Essentially, a sort of racing game, but it's platform jumping based. They're now making a sequel called Speedrunners 2: King of Speed. That will be launching in 2025 on Steam this year. There is also news of DLC, including DLC for Deep Rock Galactic and Deep Rock Galactic Survivor, which is their sort of Vampire Survivors inspired version of their game, and a DLC for Katana Zero.
Yes.
Which, if you've not played Katana Zero, is very good. This has been a long-awaited one for sure. And on top of that, they announced that it will be free. It'll be a free DLC update as well.
Amazing.
There's a bunch of other stuff too. There's a roguelite FPS game, as well as Barotrauma has made a new game about Sub-Zero survival called Frost Trail. You can all check that out. If you have anything you were very interested in that you think we should have talked about, youtube.com/AWGames. Go in the comments. Let us know. I did not watch the whole thing, but I did watch most of the trailers and got into the things that I was mostly interested in. Other stuff that happened this week, because surprisingly, when last week was dominated by one news piece, which was the Switch 2, everyone stayed away. This week, we have a bunch of other stuff, though. The BAFTA Awards just happened. The BAFTA Awards are essentially the video game awards, but geared towards the UK specifically. And the BAFTA Awards just happened, and they disclosed their winners. Here are the winners of the BAFTA Game Awards of 2025. And I will do this I will announce the best game last, but I think you can figure it out as I go through this list. Best animation went to Astrobot. Artistic achievement went to Neva, which I did not play, but that's the hand-painted
looks beautiful
platformer, which it looks incredible. Audio achievement goes to Astrobot. Best British game goes to Thank Goodness You're Here, which I really enjoyed. Very, very fun comedic game. Best debut game was Balatro. Best evolving game was Vampire Survivors, which I forgot to disclose on the Triple I. They announced a new DLC that they dropped and shadow dropped for free. So if you're playing Vampire Survivors, there's like upwards of 12 new characters and 16 new weapons you could jump into right now. Best family game, Astrobot. Best or game beyond entertainment. That's a game that bleeds into the online or into video. Tales of Kenzara Zao, which I do not know about.
I believe that is a Metroidvania. It actually looked artistically very similar to Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it looks really cool. I've not played it yet, but I definitely want to check that one out.
Well, that's the first time I've seen it nominated for something, so I might end up checking it out. Best game design, Astrobot. Best multiplayer, Helldivers 2. Best music, Helldivers 2. Which is funny, I only remember the theme song.
I know. That's all I remember, too.
I don't remember there being other music, but here's the thing. I'm probably so anxious while playing that I don't
100%.
realize the music that is happening.
Absolutely.
Best narrative was Metaphor, which I still have not completed. I got to go back and finish. Best new intellectual property is Still Wakes the Deep. I don't know what that is. That's a horror game. I know that much of it, but I don't know what about. So I'm very, very curious about that one as well.
Right.
Best performer in a leading role was Alex Newman in Still Wakes the Deep. And best performer in a supporting role was Karen Dunbar for Still Wakes the Deep. So,
yeah.
I think I might have to add that to the list.
Absolutely. A lot of great performances in that game.
And then the final two, best technical achievement went to Senua's Saga Hellblade 2, which, incredible. Probably one of the most stunning games I've ever looked at.
Easily.
But the game of the year for the BAFTA Awards of 2025 goes to, you probably guessed it, it went to Astrobot. Which,
Yes,
congratulations, Astrobot. You pretty much, I think you won every game of the year?
Seriously, I can't think.
I'm trying to think which one it wasn't.
I want to say that Metaphor won like one game of the year from one publication, but I could be wrong. But long story short, you're right. Astrobot dominated though in the video game industry.
Yeah, I think in the last for 2024, the big two were that and Balatro by far.
Yes.
And there were a lot of big games. Don't get me wrong. This was a
many.
Great year for games, but those two ran
Such
away
a
with
good year.
most of it for sure. So yeah, there's your winners for the BAFTA Awards of 2025. I can't argue with most of those. I would have voted Astrobot in most of these places as well. And then finally, our last news piece that we're going to disclose this week is about the Minecraft movie. Now, I have not seen Minecraft the movie. I've also never played Minecraft, so a lot of what we're about to talk about is just not going to hit with me. But the Minecraft movie that only has been out for 1 week has opened up with the biggest U.S. domestic opening weekend ever of a video game adaptation. That's big. Ever. Bigger than any Resident Evil movie, bigger than Super Mario, which that's crazy to think about. It made, and I only have it in, I have it right here, $301 million on its opening weekend. So that's only in 3 days.
My God.
So probably
they've got to
close
be
to
over
double.
the moon about that.
They'll reach $1 billion probably within 2 weeks. Yeah. So this will be one of the biggest properties of all time, movie-wise. Obviously, Minecraft is already one of the biggest properties in video games. I've never played the game, but it does lend itself to one question, which is, this has been popular. Last of Us 2, Last of Us, the TV series, which season 2 has, I believe, just dropped or about to drop.
It's about to here in the next couple days, actually.
So
at this point,
it
when
might
airs,
be out.
it's
Actually, it might be out. But I remember seeing a review that it was about to come out. Both of those have done gangbusters and have brought a ton of attention to both of those properties. Do you think, and we'll specifically, I think, go towards Minecraft, do you see Minecraft making a bunch more money and a bunch more sales and maybe just more hours played on Minecraft because of how popular this movie is?
I think 100%.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's so interesting to me with these video game adaptations or these properties that go to movies or TV shows. It really seems like, and I could be wrong, but it seems like when they do really well, that transcends into the game sales and playtime and things like that. People go see the movie, they love it, and then they want to actually play the game. But interestingly enough, I feel like if a video game adaptation doesn't do well, it doesn't really affect the game that much. It's not like people decide to uninstall the game that they loved or decided like, oh, I'm not going to get it now because I didn't like the movie. But I think certainly when movies and TV shows from video games do well, that transcends into video game sales and playtime as well. So I could definitely see an increase increase in people playing Minecraft after the success of this movie. I think so.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, especially because the game is, I think, 15 years old at this point.
Yeah.
And like, so if you were, and the initial craze for Minecraft was about 15 to 10 years ago. I think that was probably its top player base. And now it's kind of had a resurgence entirely. I've never played it, and this is one of the few times where I'm like, maybe I should just bend a knee for once and just accept that I should try Minecraft. I know you just recently at least entered your Minecraft Chugs world that we talked about last week. But like, I feel like it would be a disservice. I talk about video games for half of my living, and I still have not played one of the biggest games of all time. And I'm sure I'm not the only person that feels that way. To some extent, if Minecraft is all you see week in and week out on television, at the movies, ads for it, it's in all over toy stores now too. You go to a toy store and that's the main thing they're selling right now. It has to reflect in the game sales. It has to reflect with the general consciousness towards that IP. Because it does for me. I wasn't thinking about Minecraft 3 weeks ago, and now actively I'm like, maybe I should just give this a shot. So I think this is just a sure sign. And I don't even know if the movie's good. I'll be honest. Have you seen it?
No, I've not seen it.
No, and I don't know if I will, to be honest. And that's not because it's Minecraft, but just like, I don't know what to expect with it because I don't know the world. But I don't think it even needed to be good. Just the fact that it makes money and that it's in so many rooms and so many kids are playing it. I think there's no way that it isn't making more money on the game side and isn't growing its IP doing it this way. It's just a surefire way. If you are a developer who has who has the chance to make a movie or a TV show, if you do well, and I don't mean just monetarily, I think if your show is good and represents your show, your game well, you will sell more copies. And and I wonder if and we saw Sony sign with a bunch of movie companies and a bunch of movie projects, and I wonder if that's what a lot of people are going to start doing more and more. Like Nintendo, who is very, very finicky about making movies, are making a Zelda movie coming out in 2027, live action. There's going to be another Mario movie. And from my understanding, they teased that they were going to try to do main properties like Donkey Kong and Metroid as well. So Microsoft is probably not that far from going, okay, we've tried this before, but now the climate is there for, and like, they tried Halo, but I think their ace in the hole would be Gears of War if they made a TV show, because I think that is more in the line of Last of Us. It's monsters, it's zombies, the lore's not that hard to understand. It's a lot of action and bravado, whereas Halo has a lot of lore, and if you're not into the Halo lore beforehand, it's a lot to maybe have to consume. So I could see that. Sure. I remember the Halo show had mixed reviews, for example. So I think the future of video games, I think every major publisher is probably going to look at making a media property attached to it, because that seems like a surefire way to make money if it works out.
And the more video games in my world in every possible adaptation, the better. I'm so excited about this. It's so great that the TV shows and movies have been so good. And again, you saw it too with just to bring up Fallout. Again, I know I've talked about this show a lot, but my God, the sales of Fallout 4 and the amount of people jumping back into Fallout after how good that show was is proof right there that this can be a very positive thing if done well. So it's an exciting time.
It also like gives value to the team that's probably working on Fallout 5. They're probably going to get more money now to make sure that money is well spent to make that game very good as well. So very exciting overall. I think this is just good. I would never, much like I didn't want Borderlands to do bad, I would never want a video game movie to ever do bad. I just want them to do good because it's only going to create more revenue for the world of video games and make better video games. That is it for the news for this week. There's a ton of other stuff to disclose. If you think we have missed something, go in our YouTube comments to talk. But before we end the show, we got to go to our favorite segment. That's the community mailbag, and it happens right after this. Welcome back. It's time for our favorite segment of the show, brought to you by our friends at UpperDeck.com. Collect your favorite wrestlers in 2024's Upper Deck AEW and start your trading card collection today. Unwrap autographs, memorabilia, or premium tech inserts. We have a pack right now.
Yes, we do. Another Allure pack, baby. Here we go.
Our favorite one by far. We've got Mike Bennett.
Yeah.
Ooh, shiny Mike Bennett.
Beautiful.
Julia Hart.
Oh.
Ooh, Swerve. 2-color shiny right there.
Oh, that's a good Swerve card right there.
Whoa, Preston Vance. I don't know what you're doing on there, Preston. Serena Deeb.
Serena.
That is Deanna Peruzzo. And Orange Cassidy, I believe that is the last.
Nice.
Oh, no, we also got a Dustin Rhodes.
We got a Dustin Rhodes as well. Good pack.
Good pack, as always. Those are by far our favorite ones. The reflection on them, as well as all the shiny features on it. It's every single card is on that pack. So if you want, go get yourself an Allure pack. You can get that as well as other AEW packs and a ton of other memorabilia. Go to upperdeck.com. Thank you to Upper Deck for sponsoring the community mailbag. We've got 3 questions today. Get it started, Chugs.
We are starting off with question number 1. 3 questions today, but question number 1 from Kyle. Kyle, thank you for the question. Kyle says, "Hey, Uno and Chugs, big fan of you both." Thank you, Kyle. My question for this week is in honor of Chugs' anniversary for his Twitch channel. Yeah. How did you get the name Chugs? And my question for both of you is, what do you prefer, remakes or remasters? I personally prefer remasters because of the nostalgia. Thanks for everything, guys. Kyle, thank you for the question. Uno, I'll start off on this one, especially with the first question. So, long story short, when I knew I wanted to make a gamer tag, I wanted my name to be fun because video games are fun. They're used for entertainment, so I wanted something pretty silly. And long story short, I am absolutely horrible at chugging anything. Absolutely terrible. My friends used to make fun of me for it. So similar to if you had like a friend that is really, really big and you called him tiny, that's why they called me Chugs, because I'm just horrible at chugging. So coming up with the name, I was like I said, I wanted it to be fun, playful, goofy, because video games are an absolute blast. So that's where I got the name Chugs from. But as far as if I prefer remakes or remasters, Kyle, there was a point in time where I think I would have agreed with you and said that I do prefer remasters. And don't get me wrong, I absolutely love a great remaster. Sometimes video games, like as the way they are just perfect, and you just want to re-experience it with upgraded fidelity, frame rate, music, all that stuff. But my God, the past few years, I think I love remakes more. But like I remember when they remade, and I always bring these games up, but when they remade Resident Evil 2 and Final Fantasy 7, I remember being so nervous that they were going to change aspects of these games that I absolutely adore and still adore. But instead, they did change certain things about the game. And I absolutely love the changes because I'm still in that world, but it feels like I'm experiencing it all over again. Like I get the same sense of discovery and wonder in RE2 Remake as I did in the original, and same thing for sure with the Final Fantasy VII Remake project. So I love the idea now that we're taking these properties that so many people cherish and so many people love, and lots of times accentuating even more of the story. Like the detail in the FF7 Remake project, they've added so much to this game, so much to this universe, so much to this world that I want to be in for as long as possible. And if it was a remaster, the game probably would have come out in just one as one project. But now it's 3 parts where they get to really dive in and get really, really far into the lore and character development and even some changes and things like that. So, man, I love both. Don't get me wrong. But right now, I'm more of a remake guy. I love remakes.
So you and I think have the same opinion on this for sure. I would lean towards remake. I think in this current year, 2025, if I look back, Capcom and Square alone made me believe in the remake. Every other person has been hit and miss, but those two alone, every time they made a remake, it's been worth playing. And if the rumored remake of 9 is set to come out as well, I'm gonna play that as well. If they make Resident Evil 5 or Code Veronica or anything in remaster, I will do those as well. But early on in remake versus remastered, I was way more of a remastered guy. Shadow of the Colossus, which was just a remaster, was an incredible one. Metroid Prime remaster that I just played is a remarkable one as well. But I think over time, they've almost become more lazy on the remastered side, and it's going from 720 to 1080p and maybe adding extra processing so that it's 60 frames per second. But I've realized that I to this day, I think I would rather play the remaster of 2 than the original Resident Evil 2, which is baffling to say because the original Resident Evil 2 is a masterpiece. But
yeah,
everything I want from that game is in that new version, plus more, and it just plays better. And so I've always, at first, I never wanted it to change. Much like you, I was very nervous about the Final Fantasy games and Resident Evil. But now having gone through that, I'm like, okay, you can take my Chrono Trigger and you can make something of it. You can make an Earthbound and remaster it entirely. I think I will be fine with that. I just have to, it depends whose hands are on it, but I think most of the time I would rather have a remake over a remaster.
Yeah, absolutely. Kyle, great question. Great discussion, too.
Next question is by Elias. Thank you, Elias, for your question. Happy first birthday to All Elite Arcade. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
What is a game mechanic or feature that you think should be in more games? I always thought the active reload mechanic in Gears of War was really cool, but disappointed that it didn't appear in many other games. Love the podcast, and thank you guys for being great hosts. Chugs, if you don't mind, I have 2 that I definitely do want to disclose pretty quickly.
Sure. Yes, absolutely.
There was a time when Titanfall had all these traversal things in first-person shooters that no one else had, and I could not understand why we weren't doing wall running, wall jumping, and just sliding around at all times. That has changed now. I think every first person has a version of that. Ghost Runner has it in its entirety. I think even Call of Duty now has strafing, and so they've gone even further than that and figured out motions. But the other one I wanted to talk is also related to first-person shooters, and this one is about Doom 2016. In Doom 2016, a thing that I really, really like, that I think has really changed the way I would play first-person shooters, is that you could only refill certain currencies by using some of your attacks. So you could only, melee would only give you, I think melee would replenish your health. One would replenish your ammo. One would replenish your shield. And locking those to certain actions changed dramatically how I played the game. And if that was implemented in more games, it's of course Doom is easy to implement. They could do anything. It's a surreal world. But if more first-person shooters implemented that, I think I would have a much better time playing a first-person shooter because they end up often feeling repetitive just because how many times can I shoot a guy in the head, right? And I think that's a feature that we should see more of.
Yeah. No, I completely agree. Did you have another one?
No, those were the 2. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry about that. Yeah, I completely agree with you because that really did add a lot to the Doom gameplay for sure. And it's funny enough you saying this is not what I was going to say, but when you started saying that answer, I just quickly want to touch on this as well. The movement in Halo 5 Guardians as opposed to all the other Halos, I miss the boosting and the movement speed and how quickly you could get around the map so much in Halo. I know they probably won't go back to that, but that's something that I really miss specifically within Halo because, my God, it makes you feel like a Spartan. It really does. It was super cool. But also the other thing is, and I know they're adding this in so many games now, and we're seeing it more and more and more, but I want even more of it, is like the perfect parry and the perfect dodge system is just so fun in third-person action games. I want it to be in every single one. So satisfying, especially as I'm playing through Kazan right now. Even South of Midnight has a perfect dodge system, which is really cool. So again, I know we're seeing that so often now, but please keep it coming because I absolutely love it. But my real answer is in open world games. I want to be able to collect every single thing that map has to offer and not have to store anything and not get over encumbered.
Yes, please.
I want to carry 40 swords and 50 pieces of armor and every possible item that you can get and never change. I want to be able to just walk around. I want it to be the most video game ever. And being able to walk around with 2 tons and just be totally fine. I get so stressed when I have to either sell stuff or store it somewhere. Dude, Uno, you should see my stash in The Witcher 3. When you open the stash, this is a 9th generation, the updated version on Xbox Series X. When I open my stash in The Witcher 3, it takes 6 seconds to load the stash. Like, there is so much stuff in there. So that's mine. I want to be able to carry as much stuff as I want without being over encumbered and not have to worry about storing anything, because I don't want to sell it. I want to keep all the precious items. I want to look at them someday. I don't ever, but maybe someday I want to go and look at all the swords I've collected and stuff like that.
Nothing ruins a game more than suddenly knowing that I can only walk at a 10th of the speed, and I'm like a 20-minute walk away from unloading that. I want to be capable.
And you don't want to drop anything.
Yeah, exactly. I want to be able to walk, and like obviously this would be hilarious to see in person, but like I want my pockets full of garbage, and I don't want it to have any weight. Like I don't want to get rid of all the plates I picked up for no reason. Really, I'll do nothing with them. But I don't want to get rid of them. I picked them up.
Exactly.
So yeah, I agree.
It's ours. They're mine. They're mine.
Exactly. Yes, I stole them, and now I own them. You should not let. Don't. Also, they sell for like $1 a piece. I'd rather just own them. I'm a video game hoarder when it comes to that, for sure.
Big time.
Yeah, Fallout was a big one for me, where every time I'd go back to my base, I had like all these different cabinets. I was like, this is my garbage drawer. This is my outfit drawer. This. Yeah.
Oh,
can't stop.
At the Chugs Army at twitch.tv/the Chugs. Every time I play The Witcher, they give me a really hard time based on how much I have in my stash. But I've been growing a lot recently. I've actually been collecting items, and Uno, I've been selling them.
Wow.
I've been selling some items. Big step for me.
Wow.
Big step for me.
I don't sell a single unique item. I don't know if you're the same way.
I normally am not, but for this run, I've been doing it. I've been doing it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Mine
It's been hard.
It all goes into a case for me. I can't do it. If I can't ever see that weapon again, I gotta keep it just in case. What if I want to go back and be inferior 10 hours from now?
Right.
Elias, great question, by the way. Thank you so much.
Yes, and last but not least, we have a question here from Hunter. Hunter says, "Greetings, Chugs and Uno. I have my tickets for All in Arlington, and I can't wait for the show this summer. Since AEW has a stacked week of wrestling planned in the DFW area, I was hoping to suggest some good video game related destinations." Ooh, okay. The National Video Game Museum is located in Frisco. I want to go there so bad.
Yes.
Just north of Dallas, and it's a must visit destination for gamers. I gotta go.
Let's do it.
There is also a nice restaurant nearby called Nerdvana that has great food and beer selection and booths with retro game consoles for you to play with your friends. They even have a coffee shop connected to it where you can buy and play board games. Ooh. Also, if you want any mom and pop game shop recommendations in DFW, I'll be happy to drop them in the comments. Please do. Thanks, and I can't wait for All In. Hunter, thank you very much for that comment and those recommendations. Uno, I have for years wanted to go to the National Video Game Museum, and I just now am realizing that it's going to be so close when we're in town.
Yeah, you want to make a trip?
I would love to make a trip.
Cool.
Dude.
I'll sort it out. I'll figure it all out. I'll get the car rental. We'll sort it out for sure.
That'd be incredible. Oh, that'd be awesome.
For everyone that wants to, I'm not telling you to join us there, but you can join us in Texas for All In and All In Week. There's a lot going on. July 9th, there's a live Dynamite. July 10th, there's a live Collision. July 8th, there's a live Dynamite. July 9th, there's a live Collision. July 10th, there's a Ring of Honor pay-per-view. And then on the 11th and 12th, there's a live StarCast that you will be able to meet and greet with most of the people from AEW and who knows who else, as well as All In finally happens on that weekend as well. Join us in Texas. We're all going to be there. I'm going to try to make it to the National Video Game Museum for sure. If we're going to be there for 4 days, we might as well at least have a little fun.
Yes, absolutely. Again, if we have time, I know it's going to be a real busy week for everybody, but man, I think we should definitely squeeze in some time to go to the National Video Game Museum. That's like, I'm obsessed with video game history, absolutely obsessed with it. So the idea of being able to walk through something like that, I'm giddy just thinking about it now. That would be amazing.
If anyone has other suggestions too, because there's going to be so much of us out there, if it's not for us, it might be useful for other people going to All In. Go to youtube.com/AEW Games. Go into our video format. It drops Monday every noon Eastern Standard Time. See our beautiful faces. And in the comments, let us know other stuff we could do around Dallas that is video game related the week of All In. because we'll have time, and if it's not for us and we can't pull it off, other people will be there, and you will only be helping them as well. Thank you very much to everyone that sent our questions out. If you want your questions answered in a future episode, go to tbs.com/arcade mailbag. I will be on Twitch this week, twitch.tv/eviluno. I'm finally going to beat Donkey Kong 64, and then hopefully we'll be on to Donkey Konga within the week, but who knows? Who knows, really? What about you, Chugs?
Who knows? I will also be on Twitch this week, twitch.tv/thechugs. Gonna continue, maybe finish Dark Souls 2 Scholar of the First Sin, continue Ender Magnolia, continue Silent Hill 3, continue and maybe finish the main game of The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt, and then also starting my first ever playthrough of Final Fantasy VI, which I'm beyond excited about. So once again, new 5-game cycle we got going on, twitch.tv/thechugs. Please come hang out.
So check us out on Twitch, as well as make sure you hit that follow button, because our podcast comes out every single Monday. Tune in every Monday morning, listen to us talk about video games, and share with us all of your information on youtube.com/awgames about the games that you are actively playing, so that I can get in there and comment on it and we can have a discussion. Thank you, everyone that listens to All Elite Arcade. It's been a whole year, and hopefully it'll be for many more years as well. We appreciate you all. We thank you, and have a nice day. Bye-bye.